Hello and welcome back to Channel Divinity. Though you probably cannot see it, we have switched studios, which is super exciting. With this allows us, we're allowed to start recording a little more often. So instead of doing this bi-weekly schedule we've had up to now, we are going to be switching to a weekly schedule, which means more gaming for us.
Yay! More D&D!
So, which means we won't just be releasing more, we'll also be playing more. So, we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, starting today, we're going to go on a weekly schedule. So, you're to see us again next week. But with that said, I think that's all of the specific announcements we have for tonight. Yeah, cool. That was nice and easy.
Sweet. I just waved at you.
Oh, hi. Hi, I thought you had something to say.
Oh, I just
Okay, well.
I'm just friendly.
Well, then without any further ado... Oh, wait! Wait. We have 2 new players joining us.
Oh, yeah!
That's why you're waving.
Yeah.
Oh!
Dylan Abney and Mary Kate Briggs will be joining us, and here shortly you'll get an introduction of their characters, be able to describe themselves. Yes?
Voice recording or in-game?
No, like right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
A quick little, hey, this is me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally didn't ask you about this beforehand, so good on you guys.
I thought it was just going to be like, and then from the corner of your eyes, you see this really tall, ugly-looking man.
I'll describe you
Hey,
guys.
don't
for
insult her like that.
All right.
Hey.
Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, a quick little recap of what happened last time. The party was cleared of suspicion of the murder of King Lorien. After being found in a study, they were confronted by Darufin, the Grand Master of the Brachian Empire, a large minotaur who oversaw all military and combat decisions made within the Brachian Empire, in the fledgling state it was. As well as Gran, the Major Domo, who oversaw most political and just social interactions that the Brachian Empire had with their people. But that being said, the 2 of them interrogated the party of 3, Solus, Carcass, and Ander, Carcass specifically being pulled back for questioning. After being relieved of all suspicion, they were let to leave, and as they began to exit, and they snuck their way out through the crowd, trying to keep a low profile and just walk out through the people who were complaining about how long it was taking for King Lorien to show up and finish the coronation. They suddenly hear an announcement from behind them from Darufin, and this announcement isn't just the death of the High King, but a declaration of war against Assyria. With this, riots began in the street, but not angry with the declaration, but instead in support of war. People seem very fed up with the Assyrian Empire and the way they've been treated, and are ready to fight back against what they see as unjust. They've been burning buildings in the streets and attacking those that they see as loyalists. And the party, unfortunately, fell victim to this as well, as they tried to leave the city. They were, sorry, no, you're totally fine. They were taken as loyalists and attacked. Making an expedition retreat, they find themselves in a small wooded park, one they'd been familiar with before. They'd seen the rogue, bard, Miklos, sneak into and then out of this to avoid the guards' detection. And so they themselves made the same move, Carcass picking up Solus and tossing him into the well before following himself with Ander. However, unbeknownst to them, the only smuggling port in this was one small one, barely the size for a medium humanoid, about halfway up, and instead the 3 of them went plummeting to the bottom of the well. Before long, Carcass found himself drowning deep below the surface of the well, being pulled by an underwater current fed by the spring in the spring that feeds this well. In a last-ditch effort, Solus and Carcass removed Carcass's armor, weapons, and shield, and he was barely able to make back to the surface within a second of drowning. The party was pulled out by a group of people who had entered into the park, and before long were recognized by a few of them as being the loyalists they were previously chasing. with, huh?
We were accused.
Accused, yes. My apologies. The three of you were then threatened, and a mob mentality once again began to grow between the people. Torches were raised, pitchforks were pointed in your direction, and they started to move closer. And in a moment of panic, Solus cast Spike Growth, a 20-foot radius, 40-foot diameter sphere of spikes erupted from the ground, hidden amongst the leaves and the grass. And as the villagers started to move forward, these spikes erupted out of the ground, snagging them, grabbing them by the legs, dragging them backwards, wrapping around their throats and pulling to the ground, and ultimately killing about 80% of people that were in there. Now, this mob had, at that point in time, been about 50 to 60 people, and in this 40-foot diameter circle, there were approximately 30 people that were cut down out of the 40 or so that were in the area, 75%. With this, many people started running, as this populace included, this was straight from the coronation, not just angry guards, but instead it was the everyday townspeople, villagers and their entire families, young, elderly, man, woman, elf, human, just all sorts. And they were cut down within a moment. Those weak of heart and constitution turned and fled, and those with strength still in their bones and who had not yet been caught or been able to survive the initial spike growth were able to pull their weapons and began to slowly advance. And that's where we left off last session. Now, before we begin here with you three, I would instead like to pan out to a different location in the city. Location currently occupied by Harkin. What is your name?
Brasinia.
Brasinia?
Brasinia.
Brasinia.
The P.
Thank you.
Yes.
How do you spell that real quick?
Prizenia.
Hang on, I need that one more time.
Prizenia.
Brasinia.
I got it right the first time.
Good job. So proud.
Yay.
So at this point in time, the government of Brachia has declared war on Assyria, the largest announcement made by this empire ever since forming. Something that was undoubtedly going to happen one way or the other. However, this was quick, unprecedented, and following the murder of their one figurehead, seemingly spearheaded by the Grand Master at Arms and the Major Domo, the people have now begun to riot in the streets, hunting down those they believe to be loyalists and dragging them off into places that you cannot see. And the two of you are just attempting to leave the city. If you two would like to describe yourself, starting with Harkin.
Harkin, otherwise known as Barrett. He's a tall, 7'6", 320 or so pound, dragonborn, white dragonborn. His scales are sort of a dull white, his eyes a faded blue, and he has a slouch, a bit of a laxness in his shoulders. He wears sort of this burlap cloak almost over his body, and underneath of that is a tattered chainmail armor. On his hip rests two long swords, one with a white gem on the pommel and the other with a green gem on the pommel, both on the left side. And on the right rests a large drinking gourd. And he has just a regular backpack over his shoulders. He has a sort of a hood that pulls over his features, though it doesn't hide his face very well given his size.
And Brasinia.
Yeah, so Brasinia is rather tall, drow half-elf, 5'11", about 150 pounds, so, excuse me, tall but slight. as well, with a light gray skin that's pale from being not out in the sunlight a lot. Pale purple eyes, white hair that has almost a purple, strange hue to it. Just some basic clothing, but you can notice a chain that is around her neck and goes down. There might be something on the end, but it's not visible. And you also would notice a book, almost like what a wizard would have for their spells.
Large spellbook strapped to your side?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. The two of you are currently pushing through morphing and moving crowds, trying not to get separated as you are making your way out of the city. And once you hit a certain point, there comes a crowd that instead of, chanting and moving hurriedly and excited as a group, are instead sprinting away from the central park of the Empire, screaming for the guards, and calling out, "Murderers! Murderers!" And overall panic ensuing from this group of people. A lot of onlookers are interested, looking down the alley, but not necessarily approaching, and there are no guards in sight.
There is a dog, and it is excited. Yeah.
You got past the blanket defense. Cute little book. Okay. If anything, we could probably cut that noise out.
Yep, this is the plan. Alright, so, what are you two doing?
What do you think that's about?
I'm not sure, but we should probably investigate.
Are you sure?
You can't blame me for being a little curious.
Well, it seems like the whole town is about to come down around us, but maybe it wouldn't hurt to check.
Just for a little bit.
Just for a moment.
The two of you start to push through this crowd, people just sprinting past, knocking into you, some falling and being trampled. You come upon this large park in the center of the capital. And as you look upon Essemont's Central Park, you see in the very center just a load of torchlight and a pool of blood as dozens of people lay being just strangled and stripped of flesh by vines that are just lashing and lacerating them, and many dead or dying, a few struggling to get through and fighting against it, while the rest stand outside, weapons drawn, approaching what seems to be three faces on the other side. And as you draw slightly closer, you realize you recognize these faces. They are images from your past, a very long ago past, one that you've almost forgot at this point in time. It is Solus, Carcass, and Ander. Ander turns to his partner and asks, Are we
fighting or fleeing?
Run. I don't want any more bloodshed, and I'm gonna disperse the spell.
As it disperses, the bodies that were being held down relax. Some that were being held up as by the vines fall, leaving just a pile of carcasses. And Sorry.
Had we made it some
Change your
point.
name.
Joke.
We use the word corpses for that.
Corpses.
Corpses.
Hello.
Corpses. What's the plural of corpses?
Meanwhile, the rest, realizing the vines have dispersed, start to timidly move into the area. Once they realize that it's safe, they're going to start charging you. What are you two doing at this time?
Harkin sort of. I think I know them.
You know them?
Yes. I recognize them from a long time ago. What are they doing here?
They,
We need to find out.
they do seem to be at the center of all this commotion.
My baby.
And Harkin kind of reaches down, well, his left hand's always on his hip. It's like, let's make our way to them.
As this happens, you've pulled out, you say, Puffroot.
Yes, Puffroot from behind my ear. I'm going to cast a second level Fog Cloud. In front of me, I'll just flick it forward. I want to space it to where it's a... at second level, it is a 40-foot radius, so it's 80 feet in total.
Okay.
I want to make it to where we've got about 20 feet in front of us that's covered, and then the rest is just like completely beyond that point. So like kind of in a blast 20 feet ahead of us.
So 20 feet ahead of you and 6 feet behind, or?
Or sorry, yeah. So the sphere starts 20 feet ahead of us.
Okay. Okay. I
So
understand.
on the crowd.
Yes, essentially.
Okay. And so you guys only have about 40 feet to traverse
To
out.
go backwards and
As you start to approach, you see Ander pull out a piece of Puffroot, which you've seen this before. And that
Yeah.
familiar,
He was like,
if I remember correctly, it's pink.
yes, it is pink.
This pink
smoke.
smoke just puffs out from the very center of the encroaching crowd, confirming your suspicions that it's exactly
like-
who you think it was.
Yes, it's definitely them.
Gawk is right.
And you, just on the edge of the smoke, become quickly consumed. But as it, starts to, not dissipate, but, congeal, you find yourselves having some slight vision as you are on just the outside of this Puffroot. Now, the three of you are what?
I'm directly next to. I think. You had your arms around both of us, or was it you?
Taking, I think taking you guys to the well. I had both of you guys like wrapped around,
Yeah.
but
When we got
at
out,
this
we were
at
able
this
to-
moment, I'm still on the ground. I'm just like sitting up.
Yeah, I'll probably, if I'm closer, I would say I'm grabbing you and then just starting to like back out because I knew the direction I threw it in, and I've got keen mind, so I always know where north is. I know all I have to
Right.
do is go behind me to. And I'll, Solus, retreat. And hopefully, just like, because I don't know where he is, but just my voice so he can hear me.
Right. You do hear his voice. Do you want to try to pinpoint which direction he's coming from? Okay, roll me a
I'm
perception.
pretty sure it's behind me originally. And I guess I'm gonna start moving behind me even if he's not there.
Oh, yes, you're much larger than me, so I'm like 2 arms.
I'm
17?
Target is still a little exhausted.
So it's not
from
directly
the
behind you,
drive,
it's
so-
more to the right. Yeah, so it's this direction.
So I guess I'm gonna head that way.
The three of you begin to move out of the puff cloud. What are the two of you doing? Harkin and Pizinia? Prizinia. I didn't write the R. I was confused.
Pizzin.
Prizinia.
Pizinga.
As are we in the fog cloud or?
You were just on the edge of it. You have visibility, but if you move any further forward, you'll lose it.
Right. Well, it's definitely them, based off of past experiences.
Are they friend or foe?
I don't quite know right now, but I think I'd like to find out.
Well,
And then Harkin just turns and presses into the fog.
You're going into the fog.
Yeah,
Okay.
just straight line.
As you press into the fog, it's not long before you start bumping into other people. both physically and metaphorically. Next to no vision. It's not a 5 foot, it's just no vision, correct? It's
Yeah.
blinded.
You're
You're completely blinded as you enter the fog. Neither of you have devil sight, right?
That doesn't help with. That wouldn't help with fog. Fog is obscure.
Yeah,
It helps
you're
with
right,
magical
you're right,
darkness.
you're So the two of you press forward, and I'm going to want you to roll me perception checks. Just a single apiece. You need to move your laptop a little bit to the right so the mic gets a straight shot of your voice.
Yeah, I had my laptop angled like. Yeah, I had it
there you
angled like
go.
that. So
Yeah.
That'll be a 13 from me.
Perception? Let's see. Perception's a +3. That's a 21.
So what did you get again?
13.
You are able to just navigate around the people, you feeling out your alert, and as people get in or barely touch you, almost like whiskers, your fingers are able to just seek them out and get you around them, expertly push them to the side. You have a little more trouble bumping here and there, but you're kind of able to follow your partner's footsteps pretty easily, staying close together, probably some sort of physical contact.
I mean, he's huge. He lumbers a bit. So.
Right. You're able to kind of follow his larger
Yeah.
footsteps as he steps through. Are you wearing metal armor? If I'm not
It's
mistaken?
chainmail, so it does have it has a noise.
You definitely follow him. And so if you begin to make your way through the crowd, which directions are you going? Just where they were?
Yeah, walking towards where I saw them.
You're just gonna keep
straight through
going.
the fog cloud, because I'm just making the assumption they're going to try and back out the other side. So.
Right. And the three of you eventually do reach the other side. What are you doing now? You've lost. There's no visual contact with anybody in the crowd.
Gotcha.
okay, so the Blue Hoods. We obviously went to the wrong place. I thought this might have been some passageway. That's
One
completely
moment.
My bad.
I pull out the now like really old and like probably withered blade of grass and put it up to my lips, and I point minor illusion 30 feet. Like if this is the way we came, I put it at like a 45-degree angle, so it's like the right side of the sphere.
Okay.
They went this way
Okay.
in that direction.
Doesn't require a deception or right. It's a
Or
it's
if
a
they
saving throw.
examine the sounder image, they can determine it's an illusion with a successful investigation.
Cool. So,
Now, examining it is going to be hard inside of.
oh, absolutely. And also they have to have a reason to examine it. That being said, you hear some shouts from within it, and a general agreement to move that direction, from what it sounds like.
Blue Hoods, where?
What do I recall that alleyway in general? From, let's say, because we walked from the well to, where did we go? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember where we were before we ended up the library. So we'd have to go to the library to figure out which direction would be the location of the alleyway that we went into. Am I correct in this? Because
You ran to the alleyway from here.
we ran to the alleyway from the well.
The first time, yeah, when you became the anaconda.
Okay.
That being said, Harkin, you hear a voice. Now, that being said, you didn't try to disguise your voice.
No.
So you hear Andrew's voice in a direction you didn't expect, saying, "They're over here!" And in general agreement, people go in that direction. Or you can change the direction and push them forward.
No, I'm gonna keep walking straight. If it was Andrew's voice, that
Right.
yeah.
From your
I know
best
he's-
recollection.
I know he's a trickster when it comes to this sort of thing. So
Okay. The two of you push forward, everybody else rushing off about 45-degree angle from where you are. The two of you begin to breach the edge of the fog cloud. As the three of you are sitting there discussing which direction you have to go to make it where you were before, suddenly two figures step out of the fog cloud. And you turn to look, expecting the normal villagers. Instead, you are facing a large silver, white, a white dragonborn, and a half drow. The dragonborn, vaguely familiar, but not exactly. Greatly changed from how you'd remember him, so you may not recognize him at first.
You three, what have you done this time?
What was that name again? Was that?
It was Haken Torax, scion of Arendor.
His face sort of scrunches a little bit.
Perhaps
No.
you better come with us. And I'm still like
He puts his hand
away.
up. No. Barrett. Just Barrett.
So are you your brother related somehow? I mean, look very familiar.
Do you not remember me?
So it is you? You have to get us out of here. I know it's asking a lot, and we ask a lot from you.
Solus.
I mean,
I assume
What is going on?
villagers trying to kill us. We haven't done anything. They think we're loyalists because I told them they're hurting people. Then there was mass bloodshed, and then they started threatening us and to drown us and kill us.
While this is happening, there seems to be motion moving now back in a more of a spread area. It seems they've given up trying to follow your illusion. Doesn't anybody spotted you yet, but the longer you remain here, the more likely something's going to happen.
I'd also say we're probably about 30 seconds through or no, is it 10 minutes?
It's
I have to
probably 10
check.
minutes.
You have to
It's
check.
concentration.
Remind me, when I met them,
It's up to an hour actually. So.
what empire were they with?
Assyria.
Syria.
All of you have been Assyrian up to now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you have to believe us. We didn't hurt anybody intentionally. I didn't mean to.
So I assume the corpses were you're doing.
They hurt themselves. I didn't want to hurt them. I give them a warning.
Barrett looks behind him at the fog club. We can explain somewhat safer.
Yes, please. And I know, I'm pretty sure I know where to go, where we can be safe. Have you interacted with the Blue Hoods in the city?
Roll me a knowledge.
Like a history or?
Yeah, let's do a history.
You know what? Then I'm gonna do my thing. I can use tactical assessment to roll one of my superiority dice as a bonus to the d20.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm still gonna roll like a 4, but it's fine. Okay, well, yeah, my bad, a 5 plus history, which is 3, so that's a 9, actually, total.
Wow, that was
That's so maybe some whispers, but both of you are relatively new to this area. You haven't spent much time in Esamont itself, which is the capital of Brachia, and so maybe, but no familiarity, really.
No, I don't believe I have. Brasilia? Have you?
Roll me history.
10.
Say 10. Same.
No, I don't believe so.
They're a thieves guild, but they're not really bad. They're just a bunch of misfits, but they really do care about this city, and they... it's a long story. Just please follow me, please.
Very well. Lead the way. This better not be another Black Fang.
Alright, so. You're leading the way? Who's leading? Okay. So I'm going to need what?
I was just gonna, because I feel like I haven't really given an explanation of what Carcass has been doing this whole time. So, he's been so he's still quite exhausted after nearly drowning in a well,
You probably notice we're a little wet.
and but Carcass seems like in this situation a little panicked. Almost like he's kind of fallen silent. There's almost like a conflict in his eyes of he doesn't really know what to do in the situation, and he's just following his other party members, trying to find a way out of here.
And so those of you that are paying attention are observing this. With your high passive perception, despite all this, you are aware of what kind of what's going on around you. But there's definitely that conflict drawing you away from what's going on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I had you roll an investigation, to get here. I believe, as you know, a single time travel and unfamiliar, dark, and mob. So was it an investigation that I had you roll last time?
I think
for?
you had me roll a history because I remember I was I was leading both of them, and I think you had me roll a history check. I think but honestly I couldn't remember.
Okay.
Somehow rolled high on
They're both intelligence.
it. Yeah, which was surprising that I was able to get a good roll on
Yeah.
that.
Considering what you were rolling last time,
Yeah.
was like, oh!
Okay. On reflection, investigation would make more sense. However, which would you rather roll? Because I did have you roll a history last time.
I got a boat plus 1 to both, so.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have you roll whichever one you want. It's gonna be the
I
same
prefer survival, think no. With advantage, right? Where's my inspiration?
Would you roll?
4.
Okay. You can't quite recall which direction you came from here. Maybe it's the fog cloud
Hey.
blocking the.
I have a keen mind.
Hey!
What happened within the last 24 hours? I can. It'll take us back to the courthouse, but to the castle, but that's the only place I can.
Right. Because the past 24 hours past that, you were in the cell.
He wasn't even with us with the blue hoods.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, you weren't with it, but you know, you were grabbed today as well. So you have some familiarity with the streets. You could at least get them back to the main road.
Yeah, at least out of these back alleys where we're being hunted.
Right.
I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to get out of this part.
Lord above. And I kind of push past you. I know where the main road is. I know where the library is. Beyond that,
That might help me remember, actually.
this way.
Andrew takes lead.
We were also kind of running away from the god at the time. Ignore that.
But you all are always this disorganized.
It takes you a moment, Carter. You've lost deep in thought, but you do realize the party started to move and you follow suit. The 5 of you are moving.
Yes.
I'm not going to have you roll such a keen mind, and you're able to navigate through some alleys. You are not spotted as the cloud stays, and it just stays until it's dissipated, right? Or until the 10 hours pass. You don't have to stay in a range, right?
I think it's concentration, because I remember
It is
you just
concentration.
you-
As soon as I get. It lasts until a wind of moderate or greater speed, at least 10 miles per hour, disperses it. So
Okay.
I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to leave that there so they still think I'm nearby.
Okay, awesome. So the 5 of you are able to escape the forest practically unseen, or the edge of the park. And as you start to wind your way down familiar alleys, you find yourself exactly where you guys were when you were cornered by the guards.
Oh, and yeah, near the burning building is right as well, right?
No, it's a different time. You weren't a part of this.
Gotcha.
This was prior to your. So, if you're looking at a top down, north is this way, or south is this way. My apologies. South is this way. The burning building and the inn they were staying at is here. This is the park. This is where you are.
Gotcha.
So, can I make another attempt to recognize
Yeah,
where we
go
are
ahead.
now from here? That is a 16.
16 is a lot better. Maybe something about being an anaconda sparked a specific type of memory in your head, or a better way to remember. But as you hit into this in this alleyway and you see those busted crates, and actually a loose gauntlet that was discarded and left behind, you are able to once again remember where you were and what you did, and where to go from here.
The crates! Cox, that was you right there! This way!
I kind of stop in about face.
Yeah.
You all right, big guy? You don't seem.
No, he's fine. He ran into me earlier.
Very well.
Because we all hurdle over the crates, and you just like...
Harkin just shrugs at Brasinia. This is about how they were last time.
As you head out to the main street, because you did cross it, Carcass, with your 21 passive, notice, this is obviously the most crowded of streets at this point in time. There's torchlight up and down. There are little gaps between mobs as they are going around. Some people are leaving with their carts, trying to get out as soon as possible. People hanging onto it and grabbing things and tossing them off of the cart as they try to leave the city. People getting dragged from their carriages. It is absolute chaos. And there are posters plaqued up in different locations asking for the heads of the Blue Hood. And it was announced during the, Dafflin did announce the Blue Hoods were responsible for the attack, and that they do hold responsibility. That was part of the announcement that this was their fault.
I thought they. Really?
I'm pretty positive. If they didn't, either way, the posters are up.
Okay.
So whether or not it's new information to you, it is there, and the blame has been put on them.
So we're, so are we like running down like a street or whatever? I see a
You are
poster.
crossing. Think of like trying to run across I-75 or something.
Okay.
Except there's no cars.
Okay.
And as you're crossing, it's got all these stalls everywhere, and horse-drawn carriage being pulled through crowds and literally trampling people. People jumping onto carriages and like dragging nobles off.
Do we see guards, or they just let them go in ham? They're like, yeah, we're gonna announce.
You see a couple, but I mean, the amount of people in the streets, you literally can't see most. These things stand out as they're above everything else, the carriages and stuff, but the majority of people are about your height, if not a little taller.
I feel like this Grandmaster may have had a little oversight to this announcement.
And if I'm like if we were trying to run through this high foot traffic area, like where would I see these posters?
So they are posted up on the tops of stands, on walls. I mean, it's like somebody just walked down the street and tap, 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 tap. It is everywhere. Impossible to miss. And there's like a bright blue, I believe it is a hummingbird. That was the mark that was on the cloth given to Samina, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, even if you're not.
Yeah, hummingbird stamped onto each one, the mark of the Blue Hoods.
Okay. So I think in terms of like the order that we're trying to like push through this traffic, I think Carcass is probably like fourth or fifth in the line, and so he's following the group, and he notices on one of maybe like an overturned stall, he sees like the familiar hummingbird symbol that he saw from Samina's blue scarf when he was in Lorian's room, and so he's gonna follow the group and then stop for a second, notice the symbol, and quickly, because for the sake of time and trying to get the hell out of here, he's gonna like rip the poster off the stall and kind of tuck it into his soaking wet bag, pretty much. Well, I guess it's not soaking wet because he did do the fire and kind of warmed it up a little bit, so it's getting drier, but it's a little damp.
So you've snagged a couple of the posters in one, and time you are across the street completely unnoticed as you shove through, nobody looking at your face, and specifically nothing attracted their attention. Neither of you carry the symbol of Assyria on you, correct?
I don't.
I don't believe
I don't think
He
Stu.
has no regalia on him.
I mean, I think you said your clothes were
From-
more
They're from Falmore City.
Falmore, but
Which I
And
believe
it's
is
just
in
the hype.
Roja, correct?
Yeah, it's in Drozhia.
Yeah.
so-
Unless they know his swords look like that, but
yeah, and we didn't want to be noticed as Assyrian spies during this coronation anyway, so.
Right.
I don't know.
So the five of you make it across, and you start to lead them down these alleys once again, and you eventually come upon what was the entrance of the sewer, which now stands open. And as you turn the corner, there are guards standing around it. And when they see you approach, halt! Stay back!
Something happened?
Official business.
Okay. Are we allowed to know about the business?
I'm sorry, officers. We're here to report some terrible crime that happened in the park near the center of town. There are many bodies there. I can't know how much. There's some strange pink mist that filled the place.
Spellcasters.
I believe so. And I pull my sleeve just a little bit.
Over your sleight of hand.
Wait 1 second. Look over there!
I'm glad I'm good at this. Yes, I am good at this. That's an 18.
I was say, could I like invoke the help action by noticing what he's doing and kind of like step in front of him as he's trying to pull his sleeve and get their attention? I mean, he already rolled an 18. I guess,
Right.
so that's fine.
I think he's all right.
Okay.
That would be something that you do before the roll. But yeah.
Okay.
That being said, you know, the chaos and whatever. Like this alleyway is actually clear. The guards have managed to keep people out. But as you know, as you cover your wrist, they don't seem to notice. We'll dispatch some guards over there shortly, but that is all. Go home for now. Lock your doors.
I think our homes are burning.
I come up behind Solus, is it? And I whisper, "Do you need in there?"
Maybe.
Maybe?
All of this is going on, and you're telling me there's enough spare guards to stand around a hole in the ground?
Once again, official business.
So are you
And
gonna go
I-
in the hole, or are there people already in there?
Leave now.
I step up and I say, "Look, this is official business. We need to go back there."
So you're talking about the sewer hole, right?
Yes.
The hole down there? Okay. Are you just saying that to them?
So tempted to charm.
I mean, trying to be persuasive, yes.
Roll me a persuasion.
Let's see how this goes. That would be a 21.
So, what exactly are you saying?
Just, we need to go in there. They should let us past.
Because
Just-
of the official business.
Yes. But because it's official, I can't disclose to them what it is because they might not know.
So how would you
I'm
say?
the same.
Let's
I would say,
tell me.
Let's see if you can lower the DC.
look, we know it's official business and you have to have certain clearances to go past you all, but I would assume that you all do not know exactly what this business is and that your clearance is not as high as ours, so we know quite a bit more than you, and we cannot disclose to you at this moment what that might be, but we do need to be past you.
He looks over the five of you in your variety of soaked materials, as well as
I have no armor on. I'm
Yeah,
in
he's
like
in, like,
rags,
giant
tunic,
drinking
and
flask
pants.
in your burlap cloak.
We had a bit of an incident, a run-in
and
with
he
the
looks.
civilians.
Who sent you?
Dafrin?
Daphra.
Alright, I nod, yeah.
Yeah, we talked with him earlier today, and then a lot of crazy shit happened. You can go ask him yourself. He knows us.
Well, be my guest. He steps aside.
I'll go last. And I prestidigitation, I like the smell of daisies. Just because I know I've got to get ready for this bad smelling sewer.
And I just give the guard a pat on the shoulder, and I say, "Thank you, kind sir. It's much appreciated."
What was your name?
Presenia.
He writes it down on a small notebook that he keeps in one of his side pouches. And the rest of you, as you pass. Who's second? Who's passing second?
I will. Solus.
Sure.
He just kind of he looks at this guy and his gaze like sharpens, like it's like his eyes just like immediately focus in on him. He goes, "Don't worry about that."
Roll me an intimidation.
Hey, guess what I'm using?
Just to make sure I'm understanding correctly, are we going past them or trying to go down into the sewer?
So they are currently surrounding the entrance. You're having to go like through them and then down. They are
But
guarding.
they're expecting us to go down, or they're expecting us to go past?
They're not letting you go down.
Okay.
That's what she's saying.
That didn't.
That's what I was misunderstanding.
That's a 12.
Okay, that's
Intimidation plus 2, so that's a 14.
Do I know?
14.
I'm just going along with it.
He steps back, looks down, just kind of motion for you to go past, and he doesn't ask the rest of you as you pass, and the 5 of you enter down into
Is
the
there like
sewer.
a grate or covering?
There's a large iron manhole, like it's steel.
Okay, but it's just like, is it like all the way off or like half off?
Oh, it's completely removed, laying against the side of one of the buildings.
Pardon me, but you may want to put that back on once I go down there. It's going to get messy.
All right.
I climb down the rung a little bit. I'm waiting for it to be put back on.
After a moment, you hear the grating of metal on concrete that is dragged over and then just dropped unceremoniously on top of the.
Perfect. I pull out a bit of chalk and I cast Arcane Lock as I drop.
Okay.
They're gonna be like,
This
heavy before.
Okay. Sounds
The
good.
password is Dandelion.
Perfect.
When it's spoken within 5 feet of the object, it suppresses the spell for 1 minute. The lock is... It's more difficult to break open or force open. The DC is increased by 10. And it's locked for the duration, which the duration is blank. Let me see if I can figure that out.
While this is happening, the 5 of you make your way down this rung ladder. It's just built into the concrete on the side, and you enter down into the sewers. And this is a long path down to the home of the Blue Hoods, but it's a known path that you guys have known about because you've been through it. And you begin to move, and as you do, you pass by the corpse of a middle-aged man, decked out in a black cloak that's pulled back. And you can see on the back of his neck tattooed a blue hummingbird.
Oh, that's not good. Oh no.
I've bought us some time. Is he your...
I mean, I don't personally recognize him, but this is not good news. Clearly, they've been found out.
Carcass sees the corpse on the ground, and so he's turned over, right? We can only see
He's
that.
face down in the sewage.
Okay. Carcass is gonna kneel down towards the body and, mutter a prayer to Eldath, and he's gonna try to flip the body over to kind of see if he can identify it.
As you do, the face is frozen in terror. There was a bolt wedged into his back that you found once you moved the cloak. It looks like it was broken off near the surface. And once you flip over the body, roll me a investigation.
Why does it seem like every time I run into you all, you're in trouble
9.
somehow?
You don't have to recognize him.
But I did recognize the hummingbird in the back.
Oh yeah, that's not symbol.
the
It's on
focal
the same paper. It's the symbol of the Blue Hoods. He is
Okay.
at least he seems to be a member. The 5 of you are continuing down the path.
Yeah. Wait. What? Your name was
Presenia.
Xenia. Well, beautiful name. How did you get us past that guard? They never listen to us.
I tend to be quite. I don't know, I've just always found that people agree with me quite often.
She has a way with words.
I wish I did.
Based on the number of times we've had to bail you out, yes, I
Isn't
wish
it
to.
that way?
Solus, is there another way out? I locked the grate so they won't be able to follow us in, but it would not do for us to leave the same way once they realize they can't come in after us.
We went out a different way than we came in last time, right? We didn't go out the same way. Yeah. Yes, there is another exit. Probably, just assuming, also blocked off by guards on the other end.
Well,
Unless they haven't found it. That being said, I'm not getting a very good feeling about all this. It might not even have been worth a trip to come down here. I mean, unless they're currently fighting somewhere. We really just need to get a hold of the leader. I forget her name. I think it starts with a B.
Vre.
Bree?
VRE.
Oh, was that she the leader of the Bree?
I can make sure.
Samina had the freaking bug.
Yeah, she did. Was it VRE you said?
I believe so. That is Dunwich.
Also, in this like sewer, is it like is it dark? Like, can we see anything?
It
Like,
is-
would you need like dark vision to see?
Yeah, you would.
Okay. I guess Carcass, you know, having trouble investigating the body, and you know, dimly lit, not being able to see anything. He's gonna reach into his, slightly damp backpack, and he's gonna look for his holy symbol, which is it's a small like mossy stone, and carved into it is like a forming waterfall, and it's got like a leather strap kind of tied on it. Do I find it in my bag, or did I lose it?
What exactly was it again? It
no.
was the symbol.
Yeah, my holy symbol.
It takes you a moment how dark it is and how soaked everything. Like you're basically reaching into a puddle.
Yeah.
That's how much water's left in there.
I could probably
Um,
feel like my scroll like case, like my studies and prayers.
mushy.
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
ripped paper. My heart kind of sinks a little bit.
And it takes you a little while to find it, to the point where you almost think you have lost it, but then you find it at the very bottom, hidden underneath it feels like a little bit of moist, ripped up paper.
And then I breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, thank Eldas. Pull the holy symbol out, and I'm gonna touch the stone. I'm gonna cast light on it.
A dim light emits from the stone and begins to brighten, emanating throughout the cavern. Those of you with dark vision no longer have dark vision active, as you have to be outside of the source of light to be able to see.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
it is also worth mentioning I'm not out of puff root, but I do not have the concentration required to both maintain my ward and cast another cloud of fog, or hold a person, or ward us with wind. I'm almost at the end of my rope, so to speak, magically.
Well, I will make sure I can hopefully fill that void. And,
My apologies. What are we hoping to find down here? Surviving blue hoods, and then what?
I was hoping to find the leader, Bree.
And then
Tell her what happened. I feel like she's the only person in the city who can help us.
the city is on lockdown. Perhaps she knows a way out. Maybe.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I mean, the Blue Hoods are a thieves' guild at the end of the day. They have smuggling ports. I feel like she's our one-way ticket out of here, and she knows we're good people for the most part. I assume she knows we didn't kill the king. If we tell her exactly what happens, she might already know. I don't know. She seems pretty smart. I just feel like we're out of options here, and I don't want to stick around a city that thinks we're loyalists. Get you a Greek caucus.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So Cargus is still kind of kneeled at the dead body, holding the light source now. Kind of turns towards Solace. So I guess we can explain our actions to the Blue Hoods. And maybe they'll let us out of here.
That's what I'm
But
thinking. But this, rest in peace. This man is one of the Blue Hoods, and if he's dead down here, I don't know what else we're gonna find down this hallway.
What's our story if we come across any other guards?
Official business.
Indeed.
That being said,
Not everyone needs to know our names.
Harkin, Presna,
Barrett?
Presenia.
Barrett, yes.
I mean Barrett. Sorry.
We must be better about that if we're going to become hunted.
I'm an open book right now while we have the time. I will explain everything you need to know.
Harkin scratches his chin for a second and reaches down to his right hip, pulling the gourd off and popping the lid before just... He puts the cork back on and puts it down. Very well. Tell me, why are we here?
So there's an organization in the town, Thieves Guild, called the Blue Hoods. Now,
Wait a minute. Take it back.
Yes.
Why are you here?
We might be tied with the Blue Hoods through a deal previous party members made before they got the free golden ticket out of this town. And we've been kind of left here to deal with the aftermath they didn't foresee. Now, we're in this town because, I guess, official Assyrian business, but as well we were invited to see the coronation, and that's why I'm here for the most part.
I would like to say I was here to visit the library. We just met up a few hours ago.
Yeah, twist of fate, let me tell you. Design, the gods themselves. Andrew happened to be in the town too, and when the king died, we were put blame to because we were around the body, because backwards to that, we got involved with the Blue Hoods, who set us to investigate his quarters. Oh my gosh.
Similar to Dunwich, it appears these gentlemen are being framed for the death of the king.
Yes. Now, we were investigated and already interrogated, and they couldn't find anything on us. Caucus told them the truth of everything, and now they're laying blame to the Blue Hoods for the murder, which not a lot's making sense here. And they also just announced war, actual war, and I cannot get behind that.
neither can I.
And now people are trying to chase us because they think we're loyalists, because a couple people bumped into me in the street and I said they were a bunch of savages. They were hurting people, and there we go. And now we're blamed.
It seems like a skill that your party needs to acquire is shutting up.
So 3 of you are just sitting 30 feet into the sewers talking.
Yeah, look, lower volume, trying to explain the
just-
best we can.
Making sure I was aware. Like, everybody's aware that you guys aren't moving forward, you aren't doing anything. You're just
Yeah, we're not.
No, we weren't moving.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll if they have to destroy it.
Oh, yeah,
it
no,
doesn't.
You'll hear them doing it if they're doing it.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. Arcane Lock doesn't have a duration because it lasts forever. You can suppress it for a minute with the passcode, but you have to destroy the object.
That's super
to get
cool.
rid of the spell.
It is concentration, though, correct?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you said you couldn't keep it up. My apologies.
no, I can't do it again.
Oh, okay.
I'm out of second level spell slots.
I understand.
So, short story, we're here to see the coronation one way or another, despite your allegiances. Our 2 previous party members with us were more on the side of the politics, while me and Caucus were along for the ride because they were our friends. And I like adventures and see what's going on, but besides the point. We eventually come across the Blue Hoods. The goals meet that we want to investigate the king to make sure he's actually a good guy before he gets coronated into entire different countries trying to secede from Assyria itself, which is already kind of a little mind-blowing. And we eventually sneak our way into Lorian's quarters and investigate, and he turns out to be a really good dude, and then all of a sudden this, like, hideous dark-skinned man with no eyes appears in the room, touches Lorien, he crumples to the floor, seems to be of necrotic magic origin, according to my good friend Caucus. And we search around the room, and we find a little like, I guess, peephole in the room to look in, and he was assassinated by someone else, and then we get framed because we're in the same room as the dead king. I will say, on the floor, before he perished, he scribbled in, "Find my brother." If you don't know, Lorien is the brother to the old High King. That said anything. So there's a lot of bigger things going on that we're getting dragged into and getting framed for, and now people just want to kill us, and I'm just trying to find a way out of the city so I can
Solus.
save my friend.
Let's move on.
I'm sorry.
He's right. We're doing no good waiting here.
There's time to explain this later. Let's just move on. We need to get out of here.
Caucus light the way.
Carcass stands up from the body, takes a lead in his rag clothing, presses forward towards the sewer, not really looking behind to see if the party's following him. He's just leading the way.
As you
the
follow,
lights.
as you go down the sewer, the blood has stained part of the water as it slowly flows downward, and you pass tunnels and other paths, but you are familiar at this point with what direction to go. And turn after turn after turn, minutes of walking, a few more corpses are found, all of which seemingly belong to the Blue Hood. It seems to be, as of right now, there have been no casualties of whoever attacking the Assumption Brachian Empire. Before long, you make it to just about where the false wall that led into the actual entrance of their guild area was, and instead of finding that false wall closed, it is blasted open. The bricks thrown everywhere, looking like it was blasted inwards. And as you turn that last corner and look into the entrance that leads out to the platform overlooking the entire area, there's one full-plated, armored man coming out of this area. And as you see him, you realize that there is blood pouring down over the armor, and he sees you, and you can only see his eyes through the armor. He's got a full helmet on that covers all of his face, but his eyes are bloodshot. And they're wide and frantic, and he reaches out, trying to say something, before a crossbow bolt comes flying out from within the hall and finds its mark between the helmet and the back of the breastplate, and he falls to the ground.
Seeing that Carcass is gonna freeze in his tracks, and he's gonna try to,
Stop the procession.
yeah, he's gonna try to stop the party. Well, he assumes that they're following him, and he's also gonna take his holy symbol. He's gonna tuck it under his rag tunic, try to block the light source.
Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and take a break there.
Okay.
Okay.
So we got stopped by Carcass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you guys actually, crossbow bolt
Yes.
smacked into the back of this guard who fell, or this armored person who fell forward into the. This is now aqueduct area, so the sewage hasn't come this way. This is fresher water, and he's fallen. Crossbow bolt in the back. You cannot see where it came from. Your light only emanates 60 feet, but there is torchlight in there.
Yeah.
Flickering around.
But did I like? Is it like I'm in the front of the pack? Did I see the crossbow bolt like hit him, or
It was like an angle.
Oh.
You did see it. You should see
So
it.
there's an entrance.
Mm-hmm. The false wall has literally been blown up, and so it's like this portal into the next area.
So Kargas took his light source, his holy symbol, and tucked it under his shirt, kind of hide their presence, and he's gonna kind of look back towards the party and like gesture them to kind of lean against the wall, like kind of like get in the shadows and like next to the hole, I guess.
Trouble. Oh. Or can we? I guess what I'm asking is, can we see the body, or did he see it and then
you-
like kind
you
of
could see it.
sidestep?
Yeah. After the sidestep. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I step to get a better look at the body and see if it's a guard.
Roll my perception.
Ooh, that is a 16.
Okay. He's wearing armor very similar to that was above the entrance, as well as heavier armor matching that of the people that were guarding the actual palace. So probably a higher ranking guard, probably with some sort of authority. Not only that, but you can see the golden sash, like the banner almost hanging down the back. It's a front and back kind of band that's worn by some of the knights, and it is pretty apparent that he is a member of the Brachian Empire's army.
What do you see?
It's a dead guard, and I'm not being shot at, which I expected.
Well, that's good news. Is it safe to come out?
I kind of stand up and take a step into the room.
Okay, so you're going up towards the room.
Yeah.
Because the guy came essentially out
fell
of
out
the room
of
and
it.
fell out. Yeah.
I'll
as
take
you
a step.
into the room.
Seeing Andrew do that, Kargas is gonna kind of get closer behind him, and in case anything happens.
And I'm also gonna shuffle my way behind Karkas.
So you're kind of like stepping and hoping to get the attention of anybody in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to draw a crossbow bolt because it'll take him long enough to reload, and I shouldn't get hit if my ward can protect me from it. That I can say we're friendly.
What is the temp HP on your ward?
I don't like that question. It's 12.
Okay, perfect.
That's plenty for a crossbow bolt.
Yeah.
Or is
About
it?
5.
26.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You step in, and it takes you a moment to realize where the bolt came from. There are what are essentially referred to as like murder slits, or
Oh, yeah.
they're up around different locations into the stonework on this level, and you can see the glint of bolts flashing against the torchlight from below. They have not fired though, but they are trained at you, and there are multiple.
That are
Like this would be enough to mess you up and probably take down your
And
but
is
depending
the
on if
coast
they're heavy or light.
clear? Can we come in?
We are not with the Brachian Empire. We are here looking for the Blue Hoods as to escape the city.
Are you? Wait, is there people in there?
There are some crossbow bolts, Solus.
Solus is kind of shouting over your guys' or whispering over your guys' shoulders into the.
Kargas is gonna
Yes.
stand out next to Ander, kind of with his hands raised, kind of hoping that if these are the Blue Hoods, that they can recognize me from when I was in the sewers with Free and Miklos.
So, as you both step through the portal, there is a moment of hesitation, and then one of the bolts is drawn back. Only one. The rest stay up, and
I reach into my component pouch. I just have my hands on the marble that I need for shield.
okay. And as you wait for what seems like an agonizing long time, but probably only is about 20-30 seconds, a door opens a level lower, and out steps Vree. Rapier in hand, crossbow the back, and a furious glare in her eye. What in the hell have you done? She comes basically marching up the stairs, sword pointed out as she's walking towards you.
Do we hear this from in the room?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I kind of
I'm gonna walk
intercede.
in.
I like to take. I don't cover him, but I take a step. in
Ander,
front.
to the side.
Does Vree know me?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
just
thought you
making
made a
sure.
deal or something. I'm gonna walk in behind.
There's a lot to explain here. And
Give me the short version now. My men are being hunted and killed. I don't have time for your antics.
We got captured by the Brachian Empire, and they may have thought that you killed Lorien, but I did not tell them that.
If you didn't kill Lorien, who did?
Can I step in? I can answer some questions.
Shut up! I don't want your antics.
There's no antics.
Who has the rapier to the throat?
Kargas takes his left hand and kind of tries to push Solus back. Please, let me handle this. We don't know what it was, but we saw what it was. It appeared to be an illusion or an image of some sort. It had no eyes. I've never seen anything like it before. But I know that it did some sort of necrotic, soul-crushing damage to Lorien and dropped him to death instantly.
So an image appeared behind Lorien and killed him in your presence.
Yes.
And you expect me to believe this?
He said find his brother.
Then why are my men being hunted?
Well, I was interrogated personally by Gran. Do you know Gran?
The Major Domo.
Yes. He interrogated me.
She backs off a little bit, not dropping the blade.
I was like kind of panicked with the sword, but now I'm kind of relaxed, and he made me hold this stone, and I felt a calm sensation come over me.
You were interrogated.
Yes. And I told him everything that I knew about the situation, but I never pinned blame on anyone. I would never pin blame on anyone. No conflict.
Where are the rest of you?
They're behind the door.
The tiefling.
Oh.
Dwarf.
They got a free pass back to Assyria.
Gone.
Yes. If you didn't know, he's an ambassador to the Nine Hells, and he didn't want further.
I don't give a shit. My brother's missing.
Miklos?
He rushed to the streets to help our remaining men to get back. I haven't seen him since. What is they're hanging us in the streets?
Which doesn't make a lot of sense considering that they blamed Assyria originally. They're going to war with them, and you guys
They're calling us spies for Assyria.
which makes someone up higher up lying.
Someone is obviously in the Brachian Empire trying to clean house. They kill the soon-to-be king, they blame the king's allies, and the empire that they are trying to secede from. It could only be someone who stands to gain significant political power from this happening.
And during my interrogation, I did mention that the Assyrian Empire may have been involved, but I did not point blame directly to them.
Damn it all!
Look, we're confused as much as you are.
I've got to find my brother.
Where did you see him last?
I just told you. He went to the
Which-
surface.
Which direction?
I don't know.
We need to be out of this city.
That's why we came to you originally, to let you know the situation.
In addition, one of your manholes is locked. The password is Dandelion. It only suppresses the spell for a moment.
I want to get out of the city, but I want my people gone too. That includes my brother. He's step one. Before I show anybody the way out, he has to be found.
Sure.
I want better terms than this. I've dealt with you before. What is the extent of what you expect of us? Retrieving your brother and then what?
And then we escape.
That's it.
That's it.
I assume my family is fine?
They're taken care of. Our people are safe. They're after the operatives. For now. As far as I know, they don't know who we protect and who we don't. The majority aren't even in the city. Your family is safe, Andrew.
Very well.
But nobody leaves until I find my brother.
Where would you like us to bring him? Or should we all go together? Fight in numbers?
We split up.
Okay.
She sheathes her rapier. Don't fuck this up. Dead or alive, I want to know where he is.
I would personally not like to fuck up our golden ticket out of here.
If you find him, maybe the old apothecary on the south side of town. It's a long abandoned building. It's one of our hideouts. One of the few that I think hasn't been discovered yet. It's relatively new.
Is there any passageway that we could use to somehow find a better route throughout the city? Because we're also being hunted right now, as are your people.
After already proving innocence, they think we're loyalists.
Solus, shush.
All of the aqueducts are connected. The sewers are connected. You could reach about anywhere in the city. They probably aren't covering all of them. I'd go as far as you can underground before you would try to leave, but just be wary of who's watching. The other option is to leave town, but I'm not willing to part with that information just yet. Not until my brother is found. Make close to priority 1, then I'll show you where the exits are. That being said, the place you're going is the Shrinage room. It's the 5th bookcase on the left in the main room. There's a vial on the 2nd shelf. Take that off and the door below.
And this will lead us to...
One of my informants. Whoever finds him first will let us know.
How long will we wait to meet up there?
How long will it take you to find him? You know these streets.
No offense, but we just kind of got here.
Not you, Andrew.
If I were an hour, say, we wait and we find him, we get there. If it's been past an hour, we leave.
An hour and a half.
Fair enough.
I'll meet you there. Don't leave the way you came. It's most definitely being watched. Your faces are known. Keep your names in the low. She turns around.
Wait, Bree? This may be a bit too much to ask right now in this situation, but does your guild have any spare armor to spare? It's a long story. Lost it in a certain encounter. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just
Sully,
7-6.
nothing in your size.
Noted. Thank you.
I feel like you should know, considering you seem to know a lot. Lorien told us to find his brother. Before if you know anything about that. Any rumors, connections, what it even means.
This catches her a bit by surprise. Like she hadn't considered the fact that you actually got to talk with him. she takes a moment away from the series of the specific moment to kind of look inward and think for a moment before she shakes it out of it. Not now. Miklos. Then Moby.
Carcass, I'll travel with you. Seems I might have the best recollection of the city, and if she is dying, you are the only one here who can heal significantly.
I'll leave you to your affairs. Find a different way out. West, preferably. They came from the east and the north. South's probably blocked too. West is the last place they want to go. The slums aren't friendly to the guards. She continues to leave. Unless everybody's going to stop her. No. She leaves, goes to the door, and disappears. All of the signs of life draw back. And as far as you can tell, you are alone.
Carcass is gonna, he's gonna walk back out of the hole and kind of stand in the middle of the sewer hallway, just trying to think of a game plan in a sense.
So was this an old friend of yours, or
No. Just the best connection we got.
do you all just make enemies everywhere you go?
Try
or-
not to.
We have an hour and a half.
You don't try very hard.
What does this brother look like?
He is a charming young fellow, and the last time I remember, he had a blue handkerchief around his neck. He might have disregarded it, considering the riots, or he might be proud enough to still wear it. He was
Face, race.
He was brown-haired, shorter. I mean, he definitely looked better than a lot of the more common folk you could point out here. He kind of looked like her, honestly, a little bit. You could see the resemblance there. That's the best way to start. I don't remember too many specific features about him. I didn't stare at him or anything.
From your best recollection, having spent time with them, he's almost never seen without this gaunty patchwork cloak that he wears underneath his roguish
Cloak.
armor.
He has a patchwork cloak that is very easy to identify.
Yes.
Listen, I do not trust Ree. I say we search for 45 minutes. If we don't find him by that time, let's meet at the alchemist's house. With or without him, we are getting out of this city tonight.
Agreed.
It's very bold.
There are 5 of us. I doubt she will take all of her forces there.
I guess that's true.
And who knows, we may find him. I just worry about leaving anyone behind.
Maybe an hour, give or take.
An hour, Solus, but we cannot fuck this up.
I don't know. Maybe I just feel bad.
West is that way. And I start walking, expecting Carcass to follow.
And he does after remembering what he said that he's going to join me.
Andrew and Carcass leave. The three of you following, you splitting up in your own direction.
I say we stick in numbers on this one.
I agree.
I suppose.
And so the three of you doing what? Sticking with them or sticking with yourselves or going a different way?
Following behind.
We'll stick with the rest.
The 5 of you head off west, or what you believe to be west, the aqueducts. Your keen mind keeping you aware of which direction was north and where to go. You weave through the tunnels, and you eventually find yourself at a ladder leading up to a closed manhole miles away from the side of the city that you were at. As you begin to climb up the ladder and lift the heavy manhole to the side, some dim moonlight begins to pour through purple as the shattered remains of the largest moon of Agaroth begins to seep into the the port. 5 of you make your way up into this shanty town of old buildings covered in cloth and whatever materials can be found to prevent weather from entering. People in the streets surprised to see people coming out of the sewers, but otherwise occupied with the smell and sight of fire on the horizon. All around there is the presence of chaos once again. And the silent aqueducts give way to the loud Terranian noise of Esmond. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you next time. This time, next Monday.